Hello everyone, welcome back to the WrestleMania Project. It's been on hiatus for about 3 or 4 years. Yeah, it's been about 3 or 4 years since we last did an episode of the WrestleMania Project. Unfortunately, I deleted all the videos off the channel and I'm not going back to make new ones. So the last video we did for the WrestleMania Project was WrestleMania 17, so today rather, we're going to be talking about WrestleMania 18. Now, what I wanted to do was put some footage from WrestleMania into the video. Obviously, can't do that because WWE is very anal about copyrighting things. I was going to take photos. I don't know if I'm maybe going to do that. So this, we might do photos on WrestleMania 19, but for this one, you just get to look at this beautiful, handsome face the entire time. I'm sorry. So anyway, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. Let's review WrestleMania 18. Now, I've got a list of notes here that I took. As you can see, I'm old. I forget things, so I have to write them down. So WrestleMania 18 took place from the Sky Dome in Toronto, Canada. Huge building. We start off the show with a live performance from Saliva, and I'll be honest with you, they do not sound good live at all, in my humble opinion. Yeah, they sounded awful live. Then we get the opening video package to the event, and this video package is really good, from the music to the comments from the wrestlers. It really got me excited for WrestleMania. I was like, whew, let's get this started. Oh man, that video package was awesome. Probably one of the best they've ever done for WrestleMania. So our first match is for the Intercontinental Championship. The Intercontinental Champion, William Regal, defends against Rob Van Dam. This is Rob Van Dam's WrestleMania debut. And right off the bat, RVD is all over William Regal, just beating the holy hell out of him. Regal pulls out the brass knuckles. RVD kicks him away. Goes on attack again and tries for the 5-star frog splash and misses. Of course. Then they go back and forth again. We even see William Regal pull out a powerbomb. Powerbombs RVD. Both men are bleeding from the mouth. Regal goes outside of the ring and gets his brass knuckles. The ref sees him and takes him, so William Regal pulls out another pair. RVD kicks him in the face, hits a 5-star frog splash, and the winner of the match and the new Intercontinental Champion is Rob Van Dam. Now for this one, I kind of wrote down what was going on in the ring. I'm not going to do play-by-play for every match because I kept having to pause the video, write down what was going on. It was very time-consuming. And I found that I didn't really enjoy it, having to stop the match to write down what moves everyone did. It just took away from the fun factor of watching it. So that'll probably be the only play-by-play I give for a match. But Rob Van Dam, in his WrestleMania debut, the opening match for WrestleMania 18, wins the Intercontinental Championship. Up next, we have the European Championship. The European Champion, Diamond Dallas Page, defends against Christian. I was never a fan of the European Championship. I always thought it was kind of a pointless title. I mean, they tried to make it a big deal when they first debuted it at British Bulldog win, but I mean, after that, it just kind of became a joke, you know? It just became kind of pointless. But anyway, Diamond Dallas Page, who, man, they really dropped the ball on DDP and WWE. DDP was an absolute joke in the WWE, and it's sad because he could have done so much more for them. You know what I mean? This was a fast-paced match. Like almost, the guys were just almost non-stop from opening bell to the end of the match. DDP wins with a diamond cutter, so DDP is still your European champion. This wasn't a match that I was really excited about. Like I said, the European Championship, I could not care less about it. And I've never been a fan of Christian at all. I've always found him to be just the... I've never told myself, man, I need to watch this Christian match. So that match didn't really matter to me. But Diamond Dallas Page is still your European champion. Up next, we have a promo with The Rock. The Rock, who will face Hollywood Hogan later in the night, is being interviewed by Jonathan Coachman. Rock asks Coach if he took his vitamins and said his prayers. Coach says, well, I've been busy. So The Rock gets upset and tells Coach to say his prayers. He tells Coach, get on your knees and say your prayers. So Coach gets on his knees and goes, what up, G? It's me, Coach. Rock is absolutely disgusted, kicks Coach in the ass, then cuts a promo on Hogan, asks Hogan what you gonna do, and we're off to the races with that. Alright, our third match of the night is for the Hardcore Championship. The Hardcore Champion, Maven, you remember Maven, Tough Enough winner, defends against Goldust. I don't even remember Maven winning the Hardcore Championship. But then again, the Hardcore Championship was one of those ones that I just really didn't care about, man. It was like, okay, a bunch of guys will come out, hit each other with trash cans, and they're going to win this ugly, broken down belt. And pretty much that's what this match was. They pretty much hit each other with trash cans the entire match, which didn't last long. The end of the match comes when they hit each other with a trash can lid at the same time to knock each other out. Spike Dudley runs into the ring and pins Maven. Spike Dudley becomes the new Hardcore Champion. Now, this is when the Hardcore Championship was defended 24/7, anywhere, anytime. So, even if you're not in a match, you could pin somebody and become the Hardcore Champion. So, little Spike Dudley is our new Hardcore Champion. After this, we get a recap of the Chris Jericho Triple H Undisputed Championship feud via a live performance by Drowning Pool. Jim Ross says, here's Drowning Pool to explain the rivalry between Chris Jericho and Triple H, and all they did was play a song, and the crowd had no reaction to it whatsoever. The poor guys from Drowning Pool, when they finished the song, the crowd was just not reacting at all, and he goes, I can't hear you. Well, I couldn't hear him either, dude, so I don't know what to tell you. These live performances have sucked so far. Alright, backstage, Hurricane Helms attacks Shane Dudley, Jesus. Hurricane Helms attacks Spike Dudley. Hurricane pins Spike Dudley to become the new Hardcore Champion. So Hurricane Helms is our Hardcore Champion. Up next we have Kurt Angle versus Kane. This is where Kane when Kane debuted, he was this unstoppable monster who the entire roster of Raw had to team up to try to take him down. He's not as unstoppable as he used to be, let's just say that. This was actually a better match than I thought it would be. You think Kane versus Undertaker, God, I can talk, I swear. When I think Kurt Angle versus Kane, you think, I don't know if that's going to be what kind of match is that going to be? I don't know if that's going to be that good, but it's actually pretty good, man. I was surprised. It was impressive to me to see Kurt Angle delivering overhead belly-to-belly suplexes to Kane. That was insane. But it's a back-and-forth match. Both guys beating the crap out of each other. In the end, Kane counters the Angle Slam, tries to turn it into a choke slam, but as he lifts Kurt Angle up, Angle rolls Kane up and gets the pin, so Kurt Angle beats Kane at WrestleMania 18. Like I said, a lot better match than I expected it to be. You'd think these two wouldn't match up very well, but they did. I mean, but then again, it's Kane and it's Kurt Angle, two of the best to ever do it, so I shouldn't be surprised. Next up, we have a no disqualification match. The Undertaker versus Ric Flair. And this is where I upset quite a bit of people. This is where I'm going to piss off a lot of folks. I've never been a fan of Ric Flair. I do not agree that he is the greatest wrestler to ever lace up a pair of boots. I never saw what the big deal about Ric Flair was. And yes, I have seen his classic matches, and I still don't understand the hype and praise behind Ric Flair. I just don't. I've never seen him as must-see. I've never seen him as one of the greatest to ever do it. That's just me. That's my opinion. Opinion, folks. Opinion. Doesn't mean it's true. That's just what I think. So, no. There's probably a bunch of people typing away the keyboards. You fat slob. You don't know what you're talking about. You're not a wrestling fan. You know how some wrestling fans get. Good Lord, if you don't have the same opinion they do, or like the same wrestler they do, they get their panties in a wad. I don't like Ric Flair, so this match, I just wanted The Undertaker to beat the ever-living piss out of him and call tonight. And that's what it was most of the match. Most of the match was Undertaker beating the piss out of Ric Flair. Undertaker could have won this match multiple times, but he'd get a 2 count and he'd pick Ric Flair back up. And then Jim Ross, for some reason, wants to start calling Undertaker Booger Red. Oh, Booger Red's gonna get his ass whooped one day. Oh, Booger Red is pure evil. And Jerry Lawler is like, what is a Booger Red? And I'm asking the same thing. What in the hell is a Booger Red? Lord have mercy. So Flair finally gets an advantage. He takes a lead pipe off the Undertaker's bike and starts attacking him with it, but it doesn't last long. Undertaker comes back. Arn Anderson hits the ring, hits Undertaker with a spine buster. Still not enough. Taker busts open Arn Anderson as a way to say thank you for giving me a spine buster. In the end, Undertaker hits a tombstone on Ric Flair and goes to 10-0 at WrestleMania. Like I said, never been a fan of Ric Flair, but I enjoyed seeing him get his ass whooped by The Undertaker. I'm sorry, I don't like Ric Flair at all. There's never ever been a Ric Flair match that I've said, oh, I've got to watch that. Never. I just don't like the dude, man. I'm not a fan. So Undertaker wins. He's 10-0 at WrestleMania. Ric Flair, of course, is bleeding like a stuffed pig. Alright, up next we have Booker T versus Edge, 2 future Hall of Famers. And they're fighting because of a shampoo commercial. Apparently Booker T had a deal in Japan to do a shampoo commercial. Edge ended up getting it instead, and that's why they're fighting. There's even a guy in the crowd who has a sign that says they are fighting over shampoo. Folks, I'm gonna tell you something. If you have Booker T and Edge, you can do a lot better than having them fight over shampoo. I'm just saying. It was a pretty stupid reason for them to wrestle, but it turned out to be a good match. Very fast paced, almost no quit, almost not stopping at all, just pedal to the metal the entire time. Back and forth match. There's one part in the match where Edge did a hurricanrana off the top rope to Booker T, and for whatever reason, I guess Booker T didn't end up going far enough to clear Edge, and when Edge did the hurricanrana, Booker T just landed on Edge's back, and I'm like, ooh, that hurt. In the end, it was a nice series of reversals, and Edge ends up hitting the execution DDT. I guess it's a DDT, but Edge hits the execution, gets the win. So yeah, they were fighting over shampoo. Backstage, Mighty Molly turns on the Hurricane. She hits him in the head with a frying pan and pins him to become the Hardcore Champion. So Mighty Molly is the Hardcore Champion after blasting the Hurricane in the head with a frying pan. Okie dokie. Up next, we have one of the more disappointing matches of the night, unfortunately. We have Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Scott Hall of the NWO. Oh boy, do I even need to discuss the NWO and WWE? Everyone knows what a failure they were, how watered down they were. Now, granted, they did have their moments when they broke a cinder block over Stone Cold's knee. They drove a semi-truck into an ambulance carrying The Rock. But, I mean, other than that, this NWO, it didn't feel like the NWO. It was just Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and Hogan, and they were just there. So this one we get Scott Hall versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Austin immediately starts beating the crap out of Hall. It was a back and forth match, but it just wasn't very good, man. I don't know. I couldn't get into it. Kevin Nash was ringside with Scott Hall, and he interfered so many times. I mean, Jim Ross is throwing a fit because his baby Stone Cold is getting double teamed. Damn it, that's not fair. How much can Austin take? This ain't right, King. This isn't right. You know, I fully expected Jim Ross to go into the ring and try to save Stone Cold. In the end, Stone Cold gets the win with a Stone Cold Stunner. I think he hit 3 or 4 altogether, but just not a very good match. Not a very entertaining match. It was, I don't know, man. I got the feeling that Austin didn't really... I don't want to say he didn't care, but I got the feeling he just really didn't want to be there. Or maybe it's just me, I don't know. Anyway, disappointing match. Up next, we have the WWF Tag Team titles on the line in a 4-corner elimination match. Billy and Chuck are the champions. They defend against the Dudley Boys, the Acolytes, and the Hardy Boys. Unfortunately, the Acolytes are the first team eliminated. They're eliminated by the Dudley Boys. Then the Dudleys are eliminated by the Hardys, and we're down to the Hardy Boys versus Billy and Chuck for the WWF Tag Team titles. Lots of cat calls from the crowd for Stacy Keibler, Jerry Lawler creaming himself, talking about puppies and booty, and you know how Jerry Lawler was back then. Well, puppies, JR, puppies, puppies. Yeah, even when Stacy Keibler came out with the Dudley Boys, she started dancing with a dude from, I guess Saliva was performing Dudley Boys music, and you know Jerry Lawler's creaming himself watching Stacy Keibler dance. Anyway, Billy and Chuck eliminate the Hardy Boys, so Billy and Chuck are still your WWF Tag Team Champions. I'll be honest with you, the only team I really cared about in this match were the Acolytes. The Hardy Boys I was never a big fan of. Billy and Chuck, I couldn't care less about them. The Dudley Boys were like, 50-50 with me. I was rooting for the Acolytes, man. Okay, backstage. Christian, who lost to DDP earlier, pins Molly Holly to become the Hardcore Champion. So Christian is now the Hardcore Champion. How many times has that belt changed hands so far? Alright, up next we have my match of the night. Most people's match of the night. Hollywood Hogan versus The Rock. Icon versus icon. Past versus present. This one had it all, man. Hollywood's supposed to be the bad guy here, and the crowd went nuts for him. During the match, they turned on The Rock, cheered for Hogan. Then they went back, cheered for Rock, booed Hogan. By the end of the match, they were cheering both guys. So it was awesome, man. Back and forth match. We saw Hogan Hulk up, which got the crowd just going absolutely crazy. It got me going crazy. I remember watching this live, and Hogan's hulking up. I was like, yes! Yes! Kick his ass, Hogan! Lots of back and forth, man. False finishes. This match was so much better than it had any right to be, because you think by then Hogan wouldn't be able to go like he used to, and I don't know if he just had the adrenaline going, or if The Rock brought it out in him, or what, but man, Hogan brought it, man. Both men did. This is an awesome match. In the end, The Rock wins. And I remember watching this live being so mad that The Rock beat Hogan. I was like, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. I was so mad, but the match is awesome, man. That's, in all honesty, that's one of the most fun matches I've ever watched. So after that, the crowd, we got to kind of cool everyone down a little bit. We have the Women's Championship Triple Threat match. Jazz is the WWF Women's Champion, and she's defending against Lita and Trish Stratus. Kids, cover your ears. This match was a clusterfuck. This match was absolutely horrible. Good God. This match was bad. In the end, Jazz wins, and she's still WWF Women's Champion, but yeah. I could see why they put this on immediately after Rock versus Hogan. Yeah, it was horrible, man. We're backstage once again, where the man who started the night as Hardcore Champion attacks Christian and pins him to become Hardcore Champion again. So Maven leaves the arena as Hardcore Champion, and the Hardcore title changed hands 5 times tonight. 5 different times. So Maven entered WrestleMania Hardcore Champion, and by God, he leaves Hardcore Champion. Up next is our main event, our WrestleMania 18 main event for the undisputed WWF Championship. The champion Chris Jericho defends against Triple H, who's come back from tearing his quad, won the Royal Rumble. Does anyone really think he's going to lose this title match? Here's the thing. When I watched this live, I remember watching this match thinking it was boring as can be. That's not the case. Watching it again, this is not a boring match. This is actually a really good match. It's just that because of how good Hogan versus Rock was, anything that had to follow that was going to seem average. And it's unfortunate for these two guys, but it's actually a really good match, man. Here's the thing about this match. If you remember the build-up, Chris Jericho is an afterthought. Think about that. Your undisputed champion, the guy at the top of the card, the champion of your company, is an afterthought. He was Stephanie McMahon's bitch. This whole storyline was supposed to be about Triple H coming back, taking on Chris Jericho, who is the guy who took him out to begin with. If you remember, he had a tag team match and he put Triple H in the walls of Jericho on the announce table, and that's where he tore his quad, so it's kind of coming full circle. There's your build-up right there, man. Jericho tore his quad. Triple H, after months of rehab and recovery, is back, get his revenge, take the title from Jericho, but no. Instead, this is about Stephanie McMahon aligning with Chris Jericho, and the whole build-up was all about Triple H versus Stephanie, taking middle school insults at each other, and Chris Jericho was just a bitch. He was walking Stephanie McMahon's dog, cleaning up her dog poop, and he was just like relegated to the side chick. Chris Jericho, your world champion, was an afterthought. So yeah, it's a good match, a back and forth match. Triple H's quad is taped up, and this is where it gets ridiculous. Jim Ross tells us that since Jericho attacked Triple H with a sledgehammer before WrestleMania, Triple H's quad is hanging on by a thread. So even though Triple H's quad is hanging on by a thread, somehow he manages to overcome interference from Stephanie McMahon. He manages to overcome the walls of Jericho, everything Jericho throws at him, and defeat Jericho to become the new undisputed champion, because of course. So yeah, your quad is hanging on by a thread, but it doesn't matter because you're Triple H. And then the funny thing is, after the match, Jim Ross says that the one thing people will remember about this WrestleMania is the display of heart and courage put forth by Triple H. So according to Jim Ross, when you think of WrestleMania 18, you're going to think of the display of heart and courage shown by Triple H. Now, far be it from me to correct Jim Ross, but when I think of WrestleMania 18, I think of Hogan versus Rock. I don't think, man, that was an incredible display of heart and courage by Triple H with his quad hanging on by a thread. I'm sorry, no. But there it is. WrestleMania 18 ends with Triple H defeating Chris Jericho to become the new WWF Undisputed Champion. Everyone goes home happy except for Chris Jericho, who's probably relieved he doesn't have to clean dog poop, but upset that he lost the titles. And I don't blame him, man. They could have done so much better with Jericho. The whole thing was like a slap in the face to the man. All in all, WrestleMania 18 wasn't bad. If I were to watch WrestleMania 18, really the only match worth watching to me would be Hogan versus Rock. Everything else is not must-see. You can do without it. Hogan versus Rock is one of those matches you have to see before you leave this earth. And that's what I'd watch it for, Hogan versus Rock. Like I said, the rest of it, it was okay. But I've definitely seen better. So there you have it, folks. The WrestleMania Project is back. I'll try to get some photos for WrestleMania when we do the WrestleMania 19 video, just to put some pictures in there. I'm trying not to get copyrighted by WWE. Like I said, they are extremely anal when it comes. They will copyright everything. They've false copyrighted me a few times. So yeah. Even when I appealed them, they lied and got them to stick anyway. So yeah. So I'm gonna take some photos and we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully I don't get copyright claimed. But yeah, I'm looking forward to going through all the rest of these WrestleManias. We're on 18. We've got 22 to go. Even though I did do one for WrestleMania 37 years ago, we'll go ahead and watch it again when we get there. So yeah, 18 down, 22 to go. Good Lord. I'll probably start watching WrestleMania 19 this weekend, get started taking my notes on that. It takes me a few days to watch them. I can't sit through them all anymore in one sitting. So anyway, after a 3 to 4 year hiatus, the WrestleMania Project is back. By God, we will finish. We will go through all 40 WrestleManias. 18 down, 22 to go. I hope y'all enjoyed it, man. Like I said, I'll put some pictures up on the next one. Try to get back in the swing of things for this. Try to make it better. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate y'all watching. Check out Hogan vs. Rock. Y'all have a great weekend. Have a great week. And I'll see you on the next one. Y'all take care.